everyone, and thank you for joining. Miguel, always the first. You know I love you, comrade. I had a request to have Mr. Furley back, so this is Mr. Furley. Look, he is 8 months and he is deaf, so we are training him with, trying to train him with sign language, but he's a puppy and he's a pain in my ass, but he's freaking cute. So we'll keep him. What,
It's a
Mr.
cute
Furley?
dog.
What's that?
Oh, it's a cute dog.
He is. He's a cutie pie. Bad though. So anyway, I digress, but tonight I have Dr. Ben Taylor. I reached out to him on Twitter. I'm X, whatever. I'm never gonna get used to that. But anyway, I reached out to him because he was a 2024 Green candidate in New Jersey, District 9. So I wanted to talk to him because, as you guys know, I've interviewed a lot of candidates, but I especially like to talk to candidates and third parties because, throughout the states, there's so many different things. You have to pay money, you have to get signatures, DNC fights you on it, everything like that. So I find that pretty much everyone I talk to has a different story of roadblocks they have to go around to get to the point of even being on the ballot. Would you like to introduce yourself a little further?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me on here. I have to make one correction. I'm, in fact, not a doctor.
You're a PhD,
But
though, right?
no, I don't.
Oh, is that just your name on Twitter?
Does it say that on Twitter?
Yeah, I think so. Maybe I'm hallucinating.
Maybe I'm hallucinating.
I swore it did.
Anyways, whatever it may say on Twitter, we could say that I have a PhD.
Oh my God, it doesn't say that. Oh my God. Okay, so full transparency, I am 85% blind. I forgot to tell you that ahead of time, and that's true. So my viewers know this. It's not fake. But yeah, oh my God. I put that on the fucking promo too. Well, thank you for being honest.
Well, you know what?
Like,
we could go with it. No, because somebody would have said like, this guy's not someone from New Jersey would say, what?
Yeah,
what?
No wonder why he's lost. He's a fucking liar.
That's funny.
Oh
yeah, so sure. My name is Ben Taylor or Benjamin Taylor, and I am with the Green Party of New Jersey. We ran a full slate of candidates this year for every federal district and Senate, and obviously the presidency and the vice presidency. So that was a big accomplishment for us here in New Jersey. And so, yeah, I am a mycologist. I study fungi, particularly a lot of the native fungi that we have on the East Coast. In New Jersey, especially, a lot of them are very threatened or endangered or extinct. And so that kind of became a very interesting place of study for me. And it was always great to kind of go out into nature and pick mushrooms all day, and you're kind of like separated from the capitalist space in a sort of weird way. It helps fight off.
Amazing.
It helps fight off alienation in a way.
And so I'm going to ask you something that I'm sure literally everyone asks you. Have you seen Fantastic Fungi?
Yes, I have seen it.
Isn't it magical? It's
awesome.
Amazing. If you guys haven't seen it, you guys watching, please watch it. It's beautiful.
It's a great documentary, and I love the way they just the way they're able to capture like so many different interesting functionalities that the fungi have. I think they did a great job with it.
They did, for sure. And even as a blind person, I was able to make out some things, which doesn't always happen. So I appreciated that. If you, by the way, if you see any comments or questions, can you see the side chat?
Um, can I? Wait, comments. Oh, here we go. I didn't see that.
If you
Now I
see
can see it.
anything that you want to like address something or, you know, highlight something or whatever, just tell me to shut up. And
Yeah, absolutely. No, will
so
do.
first, I mean, the obvious question, have you ever run for something before? And if not, like, why do it now?
Yeah, so I have not. This was my first run. And so why did I decide to do it? Well, a long time ago, well, not that long ago, when I was in university and I was studying politics, I went to Rutgers University here in New Jersey, and I studied political science for my undergraduate degree. And politics was an interest of mine ever since I was young. I mean, really, ever since I can remember. Um, as a teenager, like just watching the news, I found it very interesting. I was never someone who was, watching like kind of fiction, fantasy stuff that much. I found the real world events to be way worse, and also it's real, and like I've always felt compelled to kind of do something about it. Now, after I graduated, I went a little bit of a political hiatus in a way. Um, I learned like all sorts of leftist like theory in different groups and organizations while I was at Rutgers, and a lot of it seemed to like indicate that, or I had this sort of like electoral nihilism in a certain way. So the like I'll say that all those people who are out there who are like saying, I don't want to vote, like that's stupid. I'm just not even gonna. Like I understand that completely, and I never like feel it necessary to shame people for saying, my vote isn't going to change anything anyways, so why bother? Like I can totally empathize with that. I felt that for a long time. So then I finally decided to run, um, sometime last year. I mean, I remember uh, when the occupation began their newest like iteration of this genocide in Gaza last October. Like I remember sitting there at my job where I was working at the time, it was in a greenhouse. I did greenhouse work. And I remember sitting, it was like a slow evening, just like watching what was going on my phone. I was like, oh no, this is going to get really bad because this is what the occupation does. So I decided like someone's got to do something about this, and I did.
That's amazing. So, did you guys have a good coalition as far as, you know, in New Jersey, other Greens running? Did you kind of bounce ideas off of each other? Did you have, you know, did you guys meet even by Zoom to say, you know, what strategies are advantageous? Because I'm sure other ones were new to running as well.
Yeah, I think the majority of our slate was actually new to running, and yeah, we met up often, and especially per kind of region, like North Jersey and then South Jersey. Like a lot of us in the North were meeting up, and yeah, regularly kind of talking strategy and um, yeah, we're working a lot together. I mean, we spent a lot of time together. Like I'll shout out the other co-chair of the New Jersey Greens, John Serrano, who was running in District 10, and I was running in District 9. And we basically did like everything. We ran like two campaigns together, essentially.
And what was the process in New Jersey? I know in Pennsylvania we have like you need this many signatures, you have to pay this amount. What is it in New Jersey? What's the, you know, the requirements?
Yeah, so the requirement is actually not that bad. So if anyone feels like they want to run in New Jersey, do it, because you only need, so for a statewide election, which would be either our Senate candidate Christina Khalil, Dr. Jill Stein, obviously, for the presidential campaign. And then I think also like gubernatorial campaigns need 800 signatures,
Wow.
which is fairly reasonable, I think.
Yeah. Oh,
And but of course, you really need more than that, because if you show up with
yeah.
800, they'll say, "Well, this one's no good, so
Right.
you're out."
Yep.
But yeah, like that's not that bad. And then for our congressional races, you only needed 100 signatures for the district.
Wow.
And same sort of story where we kind of all aimed for 200, just
Yeah.
because we knew that there might be some problems. But everybody did really good getting their signatures, and we we didn't get challenged at all, actually, and nobody tried to sue us off any ballots.
I wish I could say the same for Jill.
Yeah, right. Yeah, seriously.
Oh my God. How did you do in your district? I was researching and I looked up, you and the other Greens, but in your in your interpretation, how did you guys do? Did you think you would do better or worse, or what's your reaction to how it played out?
Yeah, so that's an interesting question for a couple of reasons, and I'll go into that a little bit. We so I heard from our elections chair that historically in New Jersey, Green candidates average around 1% of the vote. Many of us overperform that this year. So our candidate, CJ, in the 8th district did the best out of all of us, and he got, I think, 2.7%, almost 3% of the vote. I ended up with 1.9%. And then there were, I think, 4 or 5 others who also performed above 1% as well. So by and large, it was a fairly successful campaign. Although I kind of suspected that, like, some of us who were really actively like campaigning pretty hard, like myself, like Christina, like John, um, like would have maybe done a little bit better. But at the same time, I mean, so, and well, two things I'll say. I just saw actually an article recently that showed that not only did we, as the candidates for the state, do quite well compared to historical averages, but I think that um, Dr. Jill Stein and Butch Ware actually performed the best in New Jersey.
Wow.
They got the highest percent here, so I think that that also shows that, you know, it's more than just like, of course everybody wants to win the election, but I think it shows that if you have candidates actively campaigning in the state and going in all the districts, you will get the party kind of out there, and more eyes will be on you. And then the final thing, which was crazy, was that actually for like the first hour and a half after polls closed at 8 until like maybe 9:20, I had like 50 something thousand votes, and I was in the lead. Like, I was smashing the Democrat and
Wow.
the Republican, and people were flipping out. Like, I was getting phone calls from like reporters and giving interviews and stuff.
Wow.
And I was getting like, all the Greens here were like freaking out and calling me, and I was like, what is going on here? I guess I did really well.
How many people are in that freaking district.
Well, no, because that was not the final count. So no, it gets weirder. And I'll send you on Twitter after this, like some of the weird stuff. So about an hour and a half afterwards, they removed that 50,000, and it's like, I don't know. I think at that point I might have had like 200 or 0 to my name. And so I was like super confused, and everyone was like, what just happened? And they were talking about it on the news. They were really confused. And so then, and it gets even weirder, because by, I think like then 11 o'clock, that 50,000 comes back. And at that point, it's showing like almost a 3-way tie between me and the Democrat and the Republican at that point.
So there's like 150,000 people in your district, give or take?
So the districts historically are roughly around, at least in terms of voters, it's usually around 300 or 250 to 300,000 votes, roughly. So, and then shortly after that 50,000 returns, it goes away again. And so my final count was like 4,000 something.
What?
So I don't know what happened, but I'm curious as to where those 50,000 votes went.
Oh my fucking God.
Yeah, it's like, crazy.
Who the hell would we even call? Because I can call and ask for comment, but like New Jersey Board of Elections.
That's what we're doing. Yeah, we're trying to figure this out, because
you guys have screenshots.
Sense. Oh yeah. Oh, I'll let me show you actually, or I'll see if I can find it here. People are ready to riot over this. It's like,
that's fucking insane.
It's like nuts. I'll send you this, I guess, on Twitter here, or I could even post it in the chat.
I don't know if it lets you post something.
Connect.
But if you share screen, like, you should be able to like put it in here, and then I can share it.
Does that work? Oh yeah, I can present. No, wait, yeah. This window.
There we go.
So this happened at around 9 o'clock. People were freaked out. What else we got here? Yeah, so then come to when it returns. I'm remembering you said you're mostly blind, so you probably can't quite see what's going on here, but hopefully people are able to. I'm sure
my commenters and viewers.
Yeah, right. So then it returns again, and as I had said, when it was like a tie, that was what it was showing for a short little bit there, and then
we're not sure what's going on. He's been going from 1 or 2%, and then all of a sudden jumping up to 30% or even more earlier on in the race. So something's fishy going on with the numbers in this race tonight. If these numbers are accurate and hold true, State Senator Nellie Poe is at 49% of the vote to Republican Billy Previn is 47%, and this again is the district. This is the race to fill the seat of the late Congressman Bill Pascrell Jr. Kurt, Roxanne, I'll step back to you. All right, again, the incumbents are having a very...
So, yeah.
So it's not even like you had 50 or 500 or 5,000. Like, oh, I added an extra 0 or 2 by accident. Like, it was
right. it was a number that was like a legit number. I mean, I don't know how to explain it. I've watched, all of the sort of like underdog type elections where there's Greens or maybe like the Bernie run in when was that, 2016? When there were like all sorts of kind of strange things happening, but I've never seen 50,000 votes show up and then disappear. It was crazy.
Well, so I guess the first question would be, how many votes did the other people running in for that position get accumulated?
Total?
Yeah.
I know that the total number by the end of the night, or actually by yesterday, actually, I think they finally kind of settled on some numbers. I know that roughly the total amount of votes cast was like 250 some odd thousand, and then those two candidates were pretty close. I think it was maybe like 100 I think it was like maybe 120 to like 130. I think the Republican was only 10,000 roughly off.
So it's feasible that was a mistake, or do you think that
it's certainly feasible? It's certainly feasible, but it's a really strange mistake.
And it happened twice.
And it happened twice, right? Like if it was, the thing is, like, I can't even come up with a theory of like what that was. That's
maybe
how
there's like a Green that works at the station, and he's like, you know what?
Yeah.
Fuck Kamala, fuck Trump, fuck the Dems. I'm putting this guy. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Maybe a friend of mine.
Right. Maybe a hacker. Anonymous.
Yeah, right. Yeah. A magic trick is what I can describe it as. And Pete, so yeah, and that's like a little bit about that. And then I'll kind of talk a little bit briefly just about my race, because the race itself was so bizarre as well. So my district contains a city in New Jersey called Paterson. And Paterson is, so it's the most Palestinian American district or city in the United States. It's like 7% Palestinian American, which is quite large.
Yeah.
It's like one of the big three between Paterson, Chicago, and Dearborn.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, right. Yeah. Michigan stuff. But it doesn't get like talked about as much. And the Democrats in New Jersey have had a very strict like stranglehold over all these seats. And in fact, in New Jersey, we actually have a part of the executive government in New Jersey called the New Jersey Israel Commission, which is like 100-person appointed, unelected commission of the state government of New Jersey that works to basically facilitate like trade, but Lord knows they're doing all kinds of sketchy stuff. So something else that I've been doing kind of is like working toward uncovering that whole thing and what's actually going on. But so the people in my district were pissed off at the incumbent, the Democrat, who had been in there for like 30 years almost. And he actually died in the middle of this race. And that was my opponent originally. His name was Bill Pascrell Jr. And in the middle of this whole race, he just dies. And I was like, what is going on?
Hillary in New Jersey.
Huh?
Was Hillary in New Jersey?
Was Hillary in New Jersey?
Hillary Clinton, was she there when it happened?
No, I don't think so. But
You don't know that joke?
no, what were people
She has a
dying
hit
when
list of
Hillary
like
was?
over 50 people.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
So anytime a politician dies, it's like, was Hillary there though?
No,
That's
yeah.
pretty
Well, he
bananas.
was old. He was like 87, maybe
Wow.
something like that, and he was running for re-election. Anyways, long story short, by the end of the day, by the end of that whole thing, the person who the Democrats picked to replace him on the ballot then, because this happened in like August, so this person, Nellie Poe is her name. She's a state senator, and she didn't even really get to start campaigning until September. And I'd been campaigning since April. And she, I think, is projected as the winner, which is nuts. I mean, that's nuts.
Is her last name Poe?
Pou, actually.
Oh, okay, because I was gonna say that's offensive because that's my man. But anyway, so as far as that goes, you know, I've seen that so many freaking times with candidates I've interviewed, and the whole suggestion, people are so duped by that. Like all they have to do is say someone is pulling ahead, and people are like, oh, I guess I should vote for them.
Yeah.
Just even subconsciously. So even with them doing that, or, you know, Dems can put her in and be like, because we know she has a great chance to win against the Republican. And then people are automatically like, they said she can win. I got her.
Yeah. And she was the most hated. Like, so I don't know if you're familiar with CARE.
Yes.
CARE is a great organization. Their New Jersey chapters are awesome. They actually polled when they were looking for a replacement for Bill Pascrell on the ballot. There were like 4 or so people who said, yeah, we want to try to be the replacement. And out of those 4, this lady was dead last with like 11% of the people who they polled saying that she was like their preferred candidate. And yet they chose her anyways. There was no like primary or anything. It was just the 3 county commissioners for the 3 counties that intersect in the 9th district just decided, yeah, we'll go with her.
It's kind of like Kamala in a way.
That is the thing. This race was eerily similar to like what went down. The Republican was even like a very MAGA, like Trump style Republican, and I know he would stand by that and say, yeah, that's absolutely right. So I'm comfortable saying that. And it's so strange how similar this race felt to like the national kind of race.
Yeah, it certainly sounds comparable. Is how did the person do running against Cory Booker?
So Cory Booker's seat was actually not up for election this time. It was, so that was another weird situation because it was Bob Menendez. Old Gold Bar Bob, we call him because he had these gold bars, or whatever it was. And so he was the representative, and then he said he's not going to run after that indictment, which I feel like should have kind of gone without saying, but
yeah.
He said it. No, she did quite well. Christina, I think, let me actually grab.
Oh, last name
that
starts with a
number.
P. I may be thinking of the wrong person.
Who are you thinking of?
Christina, Green candidate from New Jersey.
Christina Khalil is
Oh,
who you're
okay.
thinking of.
Yeah, I've heard of her. Okay.
She was our Senate candidate. Let me just pull up what she
We had
actually.
Lila.
Yeah, so she got 42,000 votes.
Wow.
Roughly 1.1%. It looks like. That's very good. I mean,
Yeah.
42,000 Greens who are voting
So that's the
in the
interesting
state.
thing.
Let's get them in,
So,
you know.
for people watching or for people online who are like, oh, 1%. But how many people is that? 1%, it doesn't sound like a lot, but that's, you have a first time candidate and you have 42,000 votes. That's fucking huge. Especially because when you're third party, the words third party are used as a pejorative. I mean, you already have that stacked against you.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's impressive as hell.
Yeah, no, it was great. And they wouldn't even, yeah, it's funny that you say that because, right, third party is kind of used that way. I wish people would just say, for at least for the Greens, like call it the damn Green Party. Like what? It's not like they don't know. And it was infuriating in all of these races in New Jersey when they were covering them. And I think our Greens outperformed the majority of like the Libertarians. So in a lot of these races, it was like, whatever the Democrats got, whatever the Republicans got, some large percentage, and then 1-2 roughly percent for, and they would usually fit us on the screen, but it would always say independent. We're the independent candidates. They wouldn't dare say that we're the Green Party candidates. And it's just like,
that's really weird because independent is a party. So that's actually factually incorrect.
Yeah, it's bizarre the way they do it in New Jersey. It's just like, it's frustrating. The Democrats, like I said, the Democrats in New Jersey have this whole machine, and they work very closely with the Republicans to make sure nobody else can do anything. And they even purposely like lose races to like try to show that we're not this one party state.
Right.
They'll like purposely not fund candidates against like certain Republicans because of that. It's crazy.
I mean, I have Josh Shapiro and I have So Josh Shapiro, I'm in Harrisburg area, so luckily I get to protest a lot because I'm right by the mansion and the Capitol steps. But Shapiro, I'm not sure if you're aware, but he has this thing that's called the Stand with Israel Act. And what it is he wrote and passed this law that if any schools or anything like that gets funding from Pennsylvania or federal with addition of Pennsylvania, if they boycott anything having to do with Israel, Pennsylvania will not give them a penny of funding anymore.
Oh, yeah, it's one of those anti-BDS laws. Yeah, so we've had one here for like... Yeah, we've had one in New Jersey for quite a while, actually. I remember even back when I was studying at university, we had like an SJP chapter that I was involved in, and we had to like not mention BDS specifically because, they would shut down the organization. But they shut down the organization anyways, actually. I just saw, I think earlier this year.
Wow. Was SJP on the ballot in New Jersey?
No, so SJP is so that is Students for Justice.
Yeah. I met Claudia.
Oh, PSL, yeah.
PSL,
They were, yeah. I don't think she did very well.
yeah, they weren't on Pennsylvania's. I don't know anyone who was gonna. I mean, all the people I know were Jill, but
Yeah,
um, yeah, a lot of it was hard because when you would look at the election results, you would scroll down, and after Jill and Chase Oliver, it would be like others, and then it would give the culmination of it. And
right.
it's like, but I want to know who did what,
Yeah.
but yeah, I wasn't able to find anything below Chase. So I mean, let's get into it. Do we think that Jill's numbers were accurate?
No,
I
I don't think so. I don't think so. There's something strange, I think, about it. My mother actually is a very, very wonderful person. She was telling, we were talking after the election, kind of that night, and she was saying like she couldn't believe that Jill didn't get, more than she had gotten in 2016. She's like,
Yeah.
everybody's talking about Jill. Like my mom had always kind of voted Democrat. A lot of her friends had kind of always voted Democrat. And now like there's been all these people who are like, I'm so glad that I get to vote green this year. So and that's obviously anecdotal, but it just seems really strange because the Green Party went pretty hard this year, and there's certainly some organizational hiccups, I guess you could say, or series of hiccups that need to be ironed out. But it just felt like they had so much momentum, like compared to other years.
Constant. Like,
Yeah.
I've had Jill on my show so many times. I've had a Shamu. I've had other green candidates. People are so freaking hype, and I can honestly say every single Muslim, Arab, Palestinian, even person of color I know was not just voting for Jill, but hardcore Jill. Like the T-shirt, the door knocking, the signature. I mean, like literally everyone I fucking know. And I know people say internet's not real life, but I'm sorry, there are some actual people on it, and
A few, yeah.
I mean, I think I'm real. I think you're real. And, I certainly witnessed, a lot of comrades I've met through her campaign and stuff. And they're like, I'm friends with her campaign manager and stuff. And we text daily. And she's like, oh my God, this event was so amazing. And one of the reasons I supported Jill is because I do a lot of work in East Palestine, Ohio. With the people affected by the train derailment. And, I was talking to her the one day and I was like, hey, do you want to come out to East Palestine and I'll hold a town hall and you can join? And she's like, when and where? And I was like, do you realize nobody fucking talks to these people? Nobody. Biden came, he didn't meet with any of them. He came after over a year. RFK Jr., who's complete trash, went and asked for donations. I mean, and she was like, yeah. And she literally stayed with the residents all day. And I was like, holy fuck. And actually, even though Ohio's Trump country, some of them voted for Jill because she's the only person who gave a fuck. So I know that, she went beyond, team party bullshit, but also because of the genocide. I mean, come on. Seriously, every fucking person in Palestine protest videos and stuff, and even when I've interviewed people on the ground, it is always, I am voting for Jill. Always. So I don't fucking buy it. I don't.
Yeah. I don't know what is like. I don't know. I guess the only other thing that maybe is something is maybe the sort of propaganda reels that they were starting to roll out attacking Jill. I mean, maybe they worked, but like they didn't seem very effective. But maybe my brain's so lodged in the green mindset that I don't know, maybe for someone else they, because here's the thing, because I was thinking about this the other day. It felt strange that for kind of the first time that I was talking to people about the Green Party and about Jill Stein, and like my close friends, some of my close friends too, or like family. And when I would like talk to them about it, I would like automatically hear the exact talking points that like the smear campaigns were trying to do. The Russian thing, the she's just trying to get money thing, they're trying to help Trump stuff. Like I actually heard these things parroted back fairly frequently. So I don't know, maybe it does kind of go deeper than we think, but I gotta imagine there's some funny business going on.
Yeah. I mean, it's not to say she would have gotten 5%. I truly believe she would have. But even if not, I still don't think those numbers are legit. I really don't. And,
Yeah.
And those talking points are so fucking tired. Like every time I post
seriously
about Jill, it's like that picture with that her sitting
with
the arrow, and it's like she's debunked this shit a million fucking times. And do you want me to show you pictures of Kamala with Putin, Hillary with Putin?
Right. These people all met with Putin. Like
what in the actual fuck? And it's like, I just got to the point where I was like, oh my God, I never fucking saw that photo. I am totally voting for Kamala now. Like, come on. It's so frustrating. But, we knew that. Okay, well, let me ask you this. Did you think, not what did you want, but did you think Kamala or Trump was going to win?
I knew Trump was going to win the whole time.
Yeah, for sure.
The whole time I knew he was going to win.
Yeah, I've been saying that since Biden was running, but the day she announced, I was like, she's going to lose too. I don't know why you propped her up. Like, she's still doing a genocide. So they could have pushed anyone else. And, she had 6 words to say, like, I will do an arms embargo. That's it. I wouldn't have voted for her ass regardless, but some people would have. But I actually protested her and I disrupted her rally in Harrisburg last week.
Nice.
And man, these shit lib women wanted to kill me. And it was great.
That's what they're like.
I know. Are you watching these videos of these women just coming out shaving their heads?
I tried not to.
That shit. Oh my God. Now they're saying that they all have to wear blue bracelets so that people know that they voted for Kamala. Like, it's like some cult thing. And I'm like, give me a green bracelet, dude. I will fucking rock that shit. Like, I'm proud of who I voted for.
Yeah.
And
me too.
Talk about Butch. What was your impression when you saw Jill picked Butch?
Yeah, so my impression, it was interesting because it seemed like there was a whole bunch of choices that it was kind of strange. And then Butch kind of came out of nowhere, I think, in a way. Yeah. But I honestly, from right when he kind of started giving his acceptance speech or kind of what he was saying, I really was hearing what he was saying. I thought it was quite good. I think he ended up fitting quite well. And maybe that's an unpopular opinion. I'm not sure.
Oh, I fucking love him.
Me too. And I actually had the pleasure of meeting him here in New Jersey for a little bit, and brought him to some of the Palestinian communities in
Awesome.
my district. He had some great conversations, and I mean, he's an amazing guy. Honestly, he's green at heart, and I'm very excited to keep working with him with the party in the future.
Hell yeah. One of the things I loved about him is he's not a politician, first of all.
Yeah.
And he's a scholar. He's fucking brilliant. And he's also an activist. But he's like, I don't know how else to say it, but like a so-called radical activist. Like, he would go out in the streets and he'll be like, different pig, like, or different cities, same pigs, like to the
right. Yeah.
What? I love you. I fucking love you. Like,
yeah,
we need more of that, dude. Like, we fucking need that.
He's got the energy. Absolutely.
I don't know if he's open to doing anything again. I know when Ajamu was on my show, the one time when Jill was looking for a VP, I'm like, what do you think? And he's like, I'm too old. I'm done with it. So, I mean, I do fear that if we couldn't get the 5% during a genocide, I do fear.
It does feel a little bit like that. I would say, honestly, worry not. We'll keep going, and whatever happened, happened. I have my beliefs about what may or may not have been added to certain candidates' vote totals, not just in my district, but nationally, obviously. But no, I mean, I have a feeling that I think we'll be seeing more of Butch in the future, honestly.
I hope so. I do. I mean, what was your thoughts when you saw that Jill and Claudia and Cornel were kind of joining forces and saying, we're not on this ballot, but they are, and so on?
I thought that was awesome. And like, I felt like this is, to me, it was almost like a sign of like, oh, we're going to start getting serious now and being like strategic in certain ways. And look, I mean, I always knew that like PSL and the Greens weren't necessarily on the best terms, but there was also like, why was that? And it was kind of hard to figure that out. I think that PSL has sort of a different strategy just in general. But yeah, when I saw that happening, I was like, oh, we're finally going to get serious and think a little bit more about our votes. Now, the question is, though, like, did people really get the message, and who got the message? I think that really, especially when I saw somebody posting on Twitter on election day, on Tuesday, like a chart of people searching into Google of like, it was like, did Biden drop out? And it was like spiked way up, like tons more people were searching it on election day. And the dude's just like, imagine being the people who are just finding out today that Biden's not running. Oh. And then I was thinking, like, in my race, I wonder how many people like didn't realize that the guy had died and that there was someone new.
What about RFK Jr.? Yeah, right. That fucker's getting thousands and thousands of votes. I'm telling you. And they're like, but he endorsed Trump. I was like, I don't fucking care. He's gonna get votes. He has sycophants. Like,
and that is really, I think it goes to show, like, there's an avenue that we haven't reached yet of like people who really don't spend a lot of time on the internet, don't spend a lot of time, if any, on social media, maybe watch TV here and there, and they'll see every now and again like a TV ad for one of these candidates,
Right.
and maybe that's like how they decide. You know what I mean? I feel like that is I don't know. I think it's something worth thinking about and strategizing about going forward.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see the ballots too. I actually forget their name because I wasn't familiar
Oh,
with them, but some
the
some of the
ballots.
some of the ballots with Jill's name had a VP that like was not her VP. Did you see that?
Oh yeah, the VPs were real funny. We had a running joke that who was it? Samson. I think his name was Samson something. I don't remember.
Yeah, that sounds
But like
familiar.
a whole bunch of ballots, that was like the VP because they like chose it so late. I think that there was like some
Where
issues.
did this dude's name come from?
That's
You know?
that's the thing. These were, I think they were like placeholders, but I think that the states maybe weren't all on the same page of like what they wanted to do for a placeholder. And so you had some people, some green parties in some states, I think had like just random like it was
So I'm
weird.
sure none of those got counted. I mean, I'm sure.
Yeah, that could be how it is. Yeah. And
And
then
then I
no,
want to
right.
know how many people wrote in New York, because I know tons of people in New York wrote in Jill and Butch, but we're never gonna know. I mean, I wrote people in 2016 and 2020. They never fucking told us. I don't know.
Right.
So, and I'm
Right.
sure there were thousands and thousands in New York. I'm sure.
Yeah. Yeah. And it begs the question, like what is the data that's actually coming through? What does that look like? Do they even count write-ins? I don't know.
Uh,
They
I
feed it through a
doubt
machine,
it.
right? And then
Right,
does the
right.
machine see that and say, "Oh, that must say
These are they're not for one of the
Biden,"
yeah.
right?
Wait, that Jill that kind of looks like Jill
Yeah.
Biden, maybe? Is that what that says? Yeah, I don't trust any of that shit. Are you guys open primary or closed?
Closed.
That's what I thought. So are we. So, in utopia, open primaries, paper ballots? Is that what you would like?
Open primaries. I don't mind the machines. It's just that like what is actually going on there? Nobody knows. Like that's the reality. We have all these elections where people see something is fishy or something is really fishy and they give some sort of an answer or something, but the reality is nobody knows what happens on the other side of those machines. It is not a transparent process at all.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So yeah, like whether or not it's a machine or like we need I don't know, I feel like we need more just observational stuff and I don't know. There's a lot that could be done with the electoral system because if you're like me, and obviously you are, it feels like the electoral system is really solely to funnel certain candidates to the finish line.
Absolutely. I'm not sure your age, but I know I truly feel like, I mean, I'm 45, so I've been voting for quite some time, but I really believe we are getting to the point where they're going to say people can vote online. And I think it is going to be the worst clusterfuck. Like, I'm not talking 4 years, but I mean, like, at some point in the future,
Yeah, that might be really funny.
it's just going to be like, okay, this is done by Google. Well, let's see who Google donates to. Kamala Harris. Oh, I wonder if she's going to win. Like, it's
Yeah,
going to be so
seriously.
easily fucked. But I can totally see that happening. In a way to
Yeah.
encourage more people to vote, you can vote from home. I don't know. It wouldn't surprise.
Vote by speaking into your Google voice or whatever. Like,
Yeah, press 1 for Kamala. Also, press 2 for
right?
Kamala.
Yeah, no, right. No, yeah, I'm 25, so I'm also
Oh,
one of
you're
the
youngin'.
youngest of the Green candidates here. Um, John Serrano in District 10 was actually the youngest. He was 24,
Oh,
and you can't be a House rep unless you're 25, but he turns 25 before the swearing in date. So he was able to
oh,
run, and it was all good. And shout out to him for really stepping up from a very young age.
hell
Because yeah,
yeah.
this generation, I mean, let me tell you, these kids are not having it. This is like
I love
they
it.
make like Marx and Lenin look like
Mhm.
they're capitalists. You know what I mean?
Right. And I fucking
These
love it.
people
I
are
admire
yeah, it's awesome.
younger people so much because I didn't wake up till 2015. What was I? I was like fucking 38 or something, and oh my God, Facebook has those memories. I found one last
Oh
night
yeah.
of Obama being reelected, and I was like, I've never felt so relieved in my life. And I'm like, oh my God, I have to take 5 showers. What the fuck, Joy? No. But,
Who was he running against
I don't
for
even
his second?
remember.
Jeb? Was that the Jeb?
Oh no, that was so Jeb! Exclamation!
Jeb.
Yeah,
Please
that was so
clap. And the
good.
turtles.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
the turtles.
Turtles.
Romney. Oh, what a forgettable candidate.
Oh my God. I just loved him because like he was like, please clap. Like that's just fucking classic. But actually
Yeah.
my 2020 favorite, were you like into 2020 and like watching like the
Yeah.
debates and
I
stuff?
I was I was sort of into it. Yeah.
I mean, I was working for Bernie and stuff, but one of my favorite things
Yeah, right.
was Amy Klobuchar. Like she told that one joke about her hair like 3,000 times, where she's like, and I was in a blizzard and Trump made fun of me, but I was like, at least my hair moves in a blizzard. And then would just do
Oh.
that and wait for people to laugh, and nobody fucking would. And she did it like every fucking day. It was amazing. I still
That was
troll her over that. Like she'll say something and I'll be like, but did it happen in a blizzard? I'm never gonna get over it. It was fucking great.
Yeah, no, that was so funny. There was so many funny I mean it was so many ridiculous moments. It's funny because yeah, in 2020 that was like that was the first or no, 2016 I remember the first Trump um race, and then 2020 he lost. But in 2016 I remember actually uh like protests, some of my first protests back in 2016, I was like maybe 18 years old, was that Trump victory, and we were out there in the streets like nonstop. And so when people come to me and they say to me like, you're just trying to get Trump elected, like, what?
Yeah.
I was protesting when I was 18 over Trump. What do you like? What are these people talking about? What do these people think is like?
They are so
It's
fucking
crazy.
binary that they think like if you
Yeah.
don't like Kamala, you must be into Trump. Like you must be. There's no, I mean, more than one person cannot be trash at the same time. It's just not feasible. So yeah,
Right.
I mean,
Totally.
yeah, it's really sad that people are that simple. And I hope it changes someday.
I think it's changing. Yeah. I mean, look, no matter how Greens performed in the election, the reality is still what we've all witnessed, which is that the momentum is building, and I don't think we've gotten anywhere close to the peak of that green wave that we're going to start start moving on. I think that the Democrats are basically toast. The Republicans have Trump for now, but in a way, it almost feels like, well, what are they going to do after Trump?
Right.
I don't know if anyone's thought that far ahead.
Oh, I have. I think about that, and I'm like,
yeah,
what
right.
is it next? Tom Cotton? Like,
Oh,
will Bibi become a U.S. citizen?
right.
And
That's
run? Like,
not out of the question. Like, that's
no.
totally a possible
Yeah, it's definitely feasible.
scenario. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, the Greens are going to keep playing the role that we're here to play, and we're going for wins. And I think that the other thing I will just say is that I think that not just getting ourselves organized better, but also thinking outside the box is going to be critical for when we actually are going to be able to take some of these seats and win these elections. I think we really need to think, just because the two parties do it this way, and they hire all these canvassers and they make all these phone calls and they make these TV ads, doesn't necessarily mean that any of those things are necessarily the most effective for winning an election. Yeah, right. So I would encourage, if we, and for anyone listening, like, I think it's time to start really thinking outside the box.
Yeah, I mean, the interwebs can be a very ugly and infuriating place, but at the same time, it's advantageous as fuck to promote things, to organize things. And I'm sure Jill and the team also realize that that's where most of the support comes from, is, social media and websites and things like that. And I think, perhaps we really should start using that more to our advantage. What do you want? I always ask everyone this at the close. What do you want people to take away from this interview?
No, that's a very good question. Well, I would say that I want people to take away that they ought to be keeping their eyes on New Jersey, for one. Keep your eyes on the New Jersey Greens. We're trying to do big things, and you could see some pretty crazy stuff soon. So I would say that. And the other thing is like, we're all going to keep moving. We're going to figure this out. It's only a matter of time, I think, that this capitalist crazy system is just basically going to implode. I mean, it kind of already has. Yeah. So it's only a matter of time until left political groups really need to be present. So yeah, that's what I would say. Don't lose hope, and keep being green.
For sure, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining, you guys. Thanks for tuning in. I see about 50-something people watching right now. So please smash likes, smash subscribe, smash each other, whatever makes you happy. But please also make sure to share. And next week, I'll be back with some more shows. I'm not going to announce my guest yet because I like to tease. But I will be back Monday. Matt will be joining me for Nevermind the Bollocks. So we will see you then at 9 p.m. Eastern. Again, thank you so much, Ben. I really appreciate it. You're amazing.
Yeah, thank you.
I hope to
thank you for having me. It was good.
Absolutely. We're close. You're ever in Harrisburg, hit me up.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you guys so much. And thank you, Dr. Ben. Oh, God. I appreciate that. That's so, it takes a lot to embarrass me, but for fuck's sake. It's my eyes. I swear. Okay.
Hey, we'll go with it.
Have a good night.
Good night, everybody. Thank you for tuning in.